Lila Montgomery never planned to text a billionaire. She only wanted her baby to stop crying. It was well past midnight, that cold, empty hour when even the city outside felt like it was holding its breath. Lila sat on the worn linoleum floor of her tiny apartment kitchen, knees pulled tight to her chest, an old baby blanket wrapped around her shoulders like armor. The lights were off, not for atmosphere, but because the power company had cut them off at sunset. Little Mason wailed from the bedroom. His last bottle had been mostly warm water again. Lila tried not to look at the almost empty tub of baby formula on the counter. She picked up her phone with shaking hands and hovered over her brother's contact. Ryan had helped before, not happily, but he had. Tonight wasn't about pride. It was about a hungry baby who didn't understand why his stomach hurt. She typed fast, "Ryan, I'm so sorry to bother you again. I need $60 for formula. Mason's almost out. I get paid Friday, I'll pay you back right away. Please." She hit send without checking the number. 5 minutes later her phone buzzed. "I think you meant to send that to someone else." Lila blinked, sat up straight, and stared in horror. One wrong digit. She had texted a total stranger. Her stomach sank. "I'm so sorry," she typed back. "Wrong number. Please ignore." She locked the screen, dropped the phone, and pulled the blanket tighter. 3 miles away, on the top floor of a sleek glass tower that overlooked half the city, Julian Blackthorne stared at the message on his private line, a number almost no one on Earth had. The text wasn't spam. It wasn't a scam. It was raw, exhausted, and real. He read it again. A mother bargaining with her own dignity for her child's next meal. Most nights he would have ignored it. Tonight he didn't. He typed back, "Will your baby be okay tonight?" Lila stared at the reply. What kind of stranger asked that? "We'll manage," she wrote. "Sorry again." "I can help," came the instant. Lila let out a bitter laugh in the dark. "Thanks, but I don't take money from strangers." Smart. "My name is Julian, by the way. Now I'm not a stranger." She didn't reply. She rocked Mason until he finally drifted off, crying quietly with the kind of tired grief that comes from being broke for too long. Then, in a moment of pure desperation, she did something she swore she'd never do. She sent him her PayPal link. 3 seconds later her phone buzzed again. $4,000 received from Julian Blackthorne. Lila froze. She checked the app twice, heart hammering. It was real. "This is too much," she typed. "I only needed $60. It's already yours. No catch. One less thing for you to worry about tonight." She didn't cry when she lost her job. She didn't cry when they took her car. But this broke something open inside her. "Thank you," she wrote, hands trembling. "I don't even know what to say." "You don't have to say anything," he replied. "Just take care of Mason." Then she noticed it. She had never told him her son's name. Lila couldn't sleep. Even after Mason's belly was finally full and his breathing turned soft and steady, she sat on the edge of her mattress staring at the screen. $4,000. Still there. Still real. She opened their chat again and reread his last message. "Just take care of Mason." No emojis. No hesitation. Just calm certainty. That scared her more than anything. Across the city, Julian Blackthorne leaned back in the leather chair in his penthouse office, the skyline glittering coldly behind him. He hadn't gone home in days. Home didn't feel like home anymore. His phone buzzed. "Why would you help someone like me? You don't even know me." He stared at the words longer than he should have. For the first time in years, someone wasn't asking for favors or investments, they were asking why he cared. So he told her part of the truth. "Once upon a time, someone helped me when they didn't have to. I never forgot it." There was a pause. "I want to pay you back," she wrote. Julian's brow lifted. For what? For the kindness. For not ignoring me. He respected that, the way she still held onto her pride even while drowning. Tell me what kind of formula Mason needs, he replied. I'll send supplies. Not money, actual things he needs. The next morning a knock shook Lila's door. 4 huge boxes waited outside. Formula, diapers, wipes, bottles, organic baby food, and soft new clothes. The good kind you only see on influencer moms. At the bottom was a plain white envelope with a simple note. Mason deserves better than barely getting by. Julian. No logo. No return address. Just his name. Lila didn't touch the boxes for hours. She sat on the floor holding her sleeping son, wondering what kind of man does something like this, and what he really wanted. Later that night she typed his name into Google. Julian Blackthorne. CEO of Apex Innovations. Net worth over $11 billion. Tech visionary. Former military. Widowed. Media ghost. Only a handful of photos existed online, all of them showing the same serious, unsmiling man. This wasn't just a generous stranger. This was the man who quietly owned half the patents in next-generation clean energy AI. So why her? She typed the question she'd been avoiding. Why are you really doing this? His reply came after 20 quiet minutes. Because I know what it feels like to lose someone you can't save. And no child should ever feel that kind of pain. It wasn't pity. It was recognition. The next message made her breath catch. Do you work? She answered honestly. Not right now. I used to be in forensic accounting, diagnostics and compliance until everything fell apart after Mason. Come by Apex Innovations tomorrow at 11 a.m., he wrote. Ask for Sophia. No strings. Just a conversation. Lila showed up the next day in her only decent jeans and a blazer that hadn't fit since before pregnancy, Mason in a carrier against her chest. The lobby of Apex was calm. Sophia Reyes, chief of staff, greeted her with warm professionalism and gave her a tour that ended in a beautiful, fully stocked nursery right next to the executive floor. He thought it might help you feel comfortable, Sophia said softly. When Julian finally walked in, the air changed. Tall, composed, tired eyes, slight stubble, he looked exactly like the rare photos, but more real. Lila, he said, like they were old friends. Thanks for coming. Before she could overthink it, he slid a folder across the table. A 3-month contract. Flexible hours. On-site or remote. Nursery included. Pay that made her eyes widen. She looked at Mason, then back at Julian. I'll take it. Her first day she discovered the fraud almost by accident. Small, repeated payments to a ghost consulting firm that didn't exist. Different department codes every time. Always just under the alert threshold. Someone inside Apex was slowly bleeding the company dry. And they were very, very good at hiding it. Julian didn't seem surprised when she brought him the evidence. He asked her to keep digging. Quietly. Over the next weeks the tension built. Late-night messages. Shared secrets. A growing trust that felt dangerous and safe at the same time. Then came the confrontation. The CFO, Victor Langston, walked into the private meeting like he owned the room. He thought he had Julian cornered. He had a flash drive full of twisted evidence, board allies in his pocket, and a plan to pin everything on the new single mom hire. He underestimated Lila Montgomery. With the help of Riley Kane, a brilliant former federal forensic accountant, they turned the trap around. Press release. Federal involvement. Ironclad proof. Victor was escorted out by security before noon. The company was saved. Lila's name stayed out of the headlines, but everyone who mattered knew what she had done. 3 weeks later she walked into the boardroom as the new director of internal compliance, full autonomy, her own team. That night, after Mason was asleep in his new room in their upgraded apartment, Lila's phone buzzed with a message from Julian. I wasn't going to say this over text, but I'd regret not saying it at all. I trust you. And I don't say that easily. I'd like you and Mason in my life, not just as colleagues. As mine. If you're ready. She smiled, heartful, and typed back. Ask me again in person. A minute later her doorbell rang. Lila's breath caught. She glanced at Mason, fast asleep in her arms, then walked slowly to the door. When she opened it, Julian stood there under the soft glow of the hallway light, looking more vulnerable than she had ever seen him. No suit, no CEO armor, just a man holding a small bouquet of wildflowers, his eyes full of quiet hope. For a moment neither of them spoke. Then Julian stepped closer, his voice low and steady. Lila. I don't want to be just the man who helped you that night. I want to be the man who stays. For you. For Mason. Every single day. If you'll let me. Tears slipped down her cheeks as she smiled through them. She closed the small distance between them and rested her forehead gently against his chest. Mason nestled safely between their hearts. I already let you in the moment you answered a wrong text, she whispered. I'm not letting you go now. Julian wrapped his arms around both of them, pressing a soft kiss to the top of her head. In that quiet moment, everything that started with one desperate midnight message finally felt complete. Two lonely souls who found each other by accident had just chosen forever on purpose.